Happy Tuesday, my friends. Today, I am going to give you yet another thing to think about when you read a passage, and that is thinking about the character's feelings. So, what happens when you read is that often you are asked, point of view, and you're asked main idea, and you're asked, author's purpose, and so forth. Sometimes they ask you how characters are feeling. And regardless of the question, you always read with that purpose in mind, which is why we want you to remember to actually sometimes read the questions first if you can. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I want to show you today's passage. Okay. So today you're going to read a story called Me Down Crayons. And the question that you are asked at the end is going to require you to write a whole extended response now, not just a one short answer. And remember, for the actual test next week or whenever it is, a few weeks from now, you're actually going to have to answer a few short answer questions and an extended response all in the same day. But right now, we're just making sure that we give you lots of opportunities to practice these things so that you get better at it. And so that when you're asked to do it, it's like, been there, done that, piece of cake, glass of milk. So today, your question is going to be that Molly's feelings change in the story. So before I even read the story, I already know there's a character named Molly, and I know that her feelings are going to change. They're asking you these three bullets. How does Molly's feel? I'm sorry, let me go back to this. How does she feel at the beginning of the story? How does she feel at the end of the story? What causes her feelings to change, and to use details to support your answer? So here you're going to see in your answer, be sure to include how Molly feels at the beginning of the story, how Molly feels at the end of the story, and what causes Molly's feelings to change. Guess what? You are going to have 3 paragraphs. You're going to have an introductory sentence, paragraph, 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 concluding sentence. Your introductory sentence is going to be something like, Molly's feelings change in a lot of ways throughout the story, or something like that. And then your first paragraph is going to say, at the beginning of the story, Molly feels blah, blah, blah. You can say Molly feels happy, Molly feels angry, Molly feels frustrated, Molly feels confused. Whatever word you choose, you're going to go back in, and while you read, you're going to be thinking, well, how does she change? How does she feel? And what are the examples from here that show me that? Sometimes the answers are in not what they say, but what the words are that follow what they say. So, you have to really pay attention to that. So while I'm reading, I'm going to be looking for just, like, that's a great idea, her mother said, smiling. Maybe that shows that her mother is happy. We know that her mother is happy because it says in the text, her mother said, smiling. So that's what I'm talking about. When you read, you're looking for all the clues throughout, the exclamation points, the quotes, and then the things that come up in the paragraphs that give you a sense of how this person is feeling. That's at the beginning of the story. But then it asks you at the end, how do Molly's feelings change at the end of the story? Now, while you're reading, continue reading the whole story. Don't just skip to the end, but continue reading and now start to think about, well, what are some of the clues that I'm getting from the text that show how she feels at the end? And I'm going to say, oh, at the end of the story, Molly feels blah, blah, blah. I know this because in the text it says blah, 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 blah. The text also says blah, 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 blah. Okay? And then the last thing they say to you is, what causes Molly's feelings to change? Which means that's probably going to happen sometime after the beginning and before the end. You're going to see that something in here causes her feelings to change. And so when you answer that question, it'll say something along the lines of, Molly's feelings change because of this. I know because in the text it says blah, 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 blah. The text also says, da, 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 da. For these reasons, I know that Molly's feelings have changed. Okay? And then your final sentence is, so you can see Molly's feelings change in a variety of ways throughout the story. I cannot overstate to you how helpful it is, because I've scored these things for the reader who's reading your passage and wants to know if you really understand not only the passage, but do they understand the question that is being asked of them. So if you see there are 3 bullets, let's make sure that you write a paragraph for each of the bullets. You don't write a paragraph or use details from the text to support your thinking, but you do write a paragraph for each task. Because they might look at your answer and say, oh, well, she kind of understood the passage, but she didn't understand what she was being asked to do, or what he was asked to do. So you have to make sure that you know what you're being asked, and then you're going to support your answer with details from the text. Okay. with a little introductory sentence and a little conclusion sentence. And that will give you some big, big payoffs, or a big payoff. All right, my loves. Good luck today. And on the next slide, you're going to see an example of what your answer could look like. And it's color coded, so you'll get to see the different things that I did. Okay. Take care. Bye.